Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Rama Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Krishna, Krishna Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Jaya Radha Giridhari Radha Giridhari Radha, Jaya Radha Giridhari Radha Giridhari Radha, Jaya Jagannath Jaya Baladeva Jaya Subhadra, Jaya Jagannath Jaya Baladeva Jaya Subhadra, Jaya Gaur Nitai Nitai Jaya Gaur Nitai, 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 Prabhupada Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, Prabhupada Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Jaya Gurudev Gurudev, Jaya Jaya Gurudev, Jaya Jaya Gurudev Jaya Jaya Gurudev. जय विष्णुपाद परमहंस परिव्रजकचार्य अष्टोत्तर शतश्री श्री भक्ति वेदांत स्वामी शील प्रभुपाद की जय, अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय, रामचार्य श्री हरिदास ठाकुर की जय। प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद, श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद की जय। श्री श्री राधा गिरिधारी भगवान की जय। श्री श्री जगन्नाथ बलदेव सुभद्रा मैया की जय। श्री श्री गौर निताय की जय। श्री श्री नित्यानंद प्रभु's appearance day की जय। श्री श्री नित्यानंद प्रभु's appearance day की जय। I go Premanande, Hari Hari Bol. All glories to the assembled devotees, Hare Krishna. All glories to the assembled devotees, Hare Krishna. All glories to the assembled devotees, Hare Krishna. All glories to the lotus feet of Sri Guru and Sri Gauranga. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. All glories to Srila Gurudev. Hare Krishna, everybody. Welcome to all the devotees this morning for the most auspicious days of the year, and the day is the appearance day of Lord Nityananda. So on this occasion, we will read a little bit from Chaitanya Charitamrita and also hear some of the activities of Nityananda Prabhu, and perhaps take away a couple of points or qualities of Nityananda Prabhu that we can get inspired in our day-to-day sadhana and try to progress in our spiritual life. Thank you very much for joining again. Hare Krishna. Jai Jai Sri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Advaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda जय जय श्री चैतन्य जय नित्यानंद जय अद्वैत चंद्र जय गौर भक्त वृंद जय जय श्री चैतन्य जय नित्यानंद जय अद्वैत चंद्र जय गौर भक्त वृंद. Screen share. So we'll recite this verse, which is offering our obeisances to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Nityananda Prabhu. Vande Sri Krishna Chaitanya Nityanandau Sahoditau Gaurodaye Pushpavantau Chitrau Sandau Tamonudau. Vande Sri Krishna Chaitanya Nityanandau Sahoditau Gaurodaye Pushpavantau Chitrau Sandau Tamonudau. Vande Sri Krishna Chaitanya Nityanandau Sahoditau Gaurodaye Pushpavantau Chitrau Sandau Tamonudau. Devotees would like to recite.
Krishna Prabhu Dandot Pranam.
Krishna.
Vande Sri Krishna Chaitanya Nityananda Saudito Gaurodaye Pushpa Panto Chitrau Sandau Tamonando Nudo. Hare Krishna.
Krishna. Okay. Anybody else?
Krishna Prabhu, I am also listening.
Yes.
Vande Sri Krishna Chaitanya Nityananda Sahadito Gauradoye Pushpavanto Chitrau Sandau Tamanudau. Hare
Krishna.
Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Krishna.
Vande Shri Krishna Chaitanya Nityanando Sahodito Gaurodaye Pushpavanto Chitro Sando Tamonudo. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandvat Pranam. Vande Guru Nisha Bhaktan Isham Ishavadakaran. Sorry, 1, 2. Yes. Vande Shri Krishna Chaitanya Nityanando Sahodito Gaudodaya Pushpavanto Chitro Sando Tomonudo. Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Okay, we'll read the word for word. One day, I offer respectful obeisances. Sri Krishna Chaitanya, to Lord Sri Krishna Chaitanya. Nityanandau, and to Lord Nityananda. Saha Uditau, simultaneously arisen. Gauda Udaye, on the eastern horizon of Gauda. Pushpa Vantau, the sun and moon together. Chitrau, wonderful. Samdau, bestowing benediction. Tamaha Nudau, dissipating darkness. Translation by Srila Prabhupada ki jai. I offer my respectful obeisances unto Sri Krishna Chaitanya and Lord Nityananda, who are like the sun and moon. They have arisen simultaneously on the horizon of Gauda to dissipate the darkness of ignorance and thus wonderfully bestow benediction upon all. So two things here in this verse. One is to dissipate the darkness and to bestow benediction upon all. And so we will look at some of the aspects, as I mentioned, about the wonderful pastimes and character of Lord Nityananda Prabhu. I'll just stop share. Om Ajnana Timirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Presthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swaminiti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Srivashadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Nityananda Prabhu ki jai. So here we have seen in this particular verse that these two lords have appeared in the horizon of Gaudadesh for primarily two purposes. One is to drive away the darkness of ignorance, and second is to bestow benediction upon all. Now, what is this benediction? And what is this darkness? We have to understand in the right context. In one way, we all know that. But what is the benediction? I think that is something we can focus on, especially today in our contemplation on Lord Nityananda before we all meet in the evening. So first is to understand that who is Nityananda and why is this personality so important to practicing devotees, to Vaishnavas. So who is this Lord Nityananda? Of course, in one way we all know that. So let's look at some verses from Adi Leela. Chapter number 5 in Adi Leela is dedicated to the greatness or describing the greatness of Nityananda Prabhu. And chapter 6 was about Advaita Acharya, which we looked at last week, for Advaita Acharya's appearance day. So very nice verses here. If you have Chaitanya Charitamrita, you can maybe handy, you can open up. So I'm reading from Adi Leela, chapter 5, text 4. So I'll read a few verses and then we will discuss. Sarva Avatari Krishna Swayam Bhagavan Tahar Dvitiyo Deho Sri Balaram. The Supreme Personality of Godhead Krishna is the fountainhead of all incarnations. Lord Balaram is his second body. So Sarva Avatari Krishna Swayam Bhagavan. So the fountainhead, the source of all avatars is Krishna. And Tahar Dvitiyo Deho, the second body, is Balaram. So Balaram is not different from Krishna. Then in the next verse, Eki Swarup Dohe Bhinno Matrokai Adyokai Vihu Krishna Lilar Sahai. They are both one and the same identity. They differ only in form. He is the first bodily expansion of Krishna, and he assists in Lord Krishna's transcendental pastimes. So in this verse, again, there's one very important point, that they are the same. Although they are the same, they are bodily different. So there is just a slight difference, just for understanding. But what is the purpose of being simultaneously a bit different but still the same? What is the main purpose of this expansion? And the purpose is to assist in Krishna's transcendental pastimes, to assist, to serve. Then the next one, text 6. Shri Krishna Navadvipe Sri Krishna Sri Chaitanya Chandra Shri Balaram Sange Sri Nityananda. That original Lord Krishna appeared in Navadvip as Lord Chaitanya, and Balaram appeared with him as Lord Nityananda. So Balaram is the second body of Krishna, first expansion rather, and it's the same Balaram who appeared as Nityananda. I'll skip text 7, text 8. Shri Balaram Goswami Mulu Sankarshan Pancharup Dhari Karen Krishna Sevan. Lord Balaram is the original Sankarshan. He assumes 5 other forms to serve Lord Krishna. So that we saw in the last verse as well, to assist in Krishna's pastimes. And here again, Krishna's Kaviraj mentions to serve Lord Krishna. Then, আপনে করেন কৃষ্ণ লীলার সহায়, সৃষ্টি লীলা কার্য করে ধরি চারিকায়. He himself helps in the pastimes of Lord Krishna, and he does the work of creation in 4 other forms. সৃষ্টি অধিক সেবা তার আজ্ঞার পালন, শেষ রূপে করে কৃষ্ণের বিবিধ সেবন. He executes the orders of Lord Krishna in the work of creation, and in the form of Lord Shesha, he serves Krishna in various ways. So Balram is serving Krishna in 5 ways, in 5 forms. And in the purport of text 10, Prabhupada mentions that which are those 5 forms. So let us look at the 5 ways. He takes on 5 forms. So Balram himself takes on 5 different forms to assist Krishna, to serve Krishna. And what are the 5 forms? The first form is Mahasankarshan. Second is Kshirodakshay Vishnu. Third is Garbhodakshay Vishnu. Fourth is Karanadakshay Vishnu. Then 5th is Shesha. So the 3 Vishnus we know, the Purusha avatars as we call. So they are nothing but the expansions of Balram in different forms. And there's Mahasankarshan. So of the 5, the first 4 forms, which is Mahasankarshan, Karanadakshay, Garbhodakshay, and Kshirodakshay, they are all assisting Krishna in the creative, the cosmic activities, all the universes, all of this that are being created. Lord Balaram is actually assisting in that form. The last one is very significant. The last one is Shesha. So Shesha, what is his job? His job is to offer personal service to Krishna. That is the Shesha. So we see Shesha is always giving Vishnu or Krishna the place to sit, is covering him, is giving him shade, shelter. And he also expands into his personal paraphernalia, which we will see in a few other verses later on. So it's very interesting that he expands into these forms. And then Krishnadas Kaviraj mentions in text 11, Sarvarupe Asadaye Krishna Sevananda, Shei Balaram Gaura Sange Nityananda. In all the forms, he tastes the transcendental bliss of serving Krishna. That same Balaram is Lord Nityananda, the companion of Lord Gaura Sundar. So we see there are 2 important aspects that is being mentioned here. One is the fact that Nityananda is the servitor God. So Krishna is the Lord who takes the service, who accepts the service. And Lord Balaram is the one who offers the service. Again, both of them teaching us by their example. So this Lord Balaram is serving. His main purpose, his main motive, his main intent is to serve Krishna in these forms that we just mentioned. And while he's serving Krishna, he is experiencing transcendental bliss. Now, this word is very important because in the material world, when we try to serve somebody, we have to go through a lot of effort. We have to put in a lot of sacrifice, and the whole experience is not very pleasant or pleasurable. In fact, it is painful. To serve somebody is to take on pain. And nobody likes that situation. And if you don't like that, how can you be even happy? Right? So in the material world, when we talk about service or serving, it is not a very pleasant experience. In fact, it's a painful experience. So it is not a happy experience. But that's the difference, because the spiritual world is exactly the mirror. So in the transcendental experience world, when we are serving Krishna, although we are taking the pain, it is a voluntary pain. Although we are doing some sacrifice, so-called, it is a voluntary sacrifice, which is done out of love. And because it is done out of love for the Supreme Lord, without any expectation, there is that experience of bliss, transcendental bliss. So it is only when we are serving the Supreme Lord, of course, by serving his devotees or devotees who are completely engrossed and inspired in the service of the Supreme Lord, when we are serving such devotees, when we are serving the Lord himself, we are experiencing transcendental bliss. And that is shown by the example of Balaram or Nityananda, that he's experiencing bliss. Because come to think about it, we all are searching for happiness in this material world, yes or no? Everybody is searching for happiness. Why are we doing what we are doing? Why are we doing? Why are we studying? Why are we doing a job? Why are we doing a business? Why are we having a family? Why are we doing all these things? Why are we acquiring properties? Why are we acquiring so many things? For what? To experience some happiness with the people who are dear to us. That's all. Sometimes we do experience some happiness. Sometimes we don't. In fact, we experience a lot of pain, even after acquiring so many things with our near and dear ones. So in this material world, happiness is fleeting. We all know that. But Lord Nityananda Prabhu, through his activity, through his pastime, is indicating to us that real transcendental bliss is not there in this material world at all, where we are searching for it. It is there in the service of the Lord. In fact, Lord Nityananda's name, what is his name? The meaning of his name, Nitya Ananda, right? Nitya means eternal, and Ananda means not happiness, bliss. So Nityananda is the personality who is experiencing eternal transcendental bliss by constantly being engaged in the service of the Lord. So this is Lord Nityananda. And then let's see how Shesha, as I was mentioning, is serving the Lord in other forms as well. Yeah. So this is from 120 in the same chapter, if you are following, 120 to 124. Okay. I'll just open that up quickly. Yeah. So here it is. সেই তো অনন্ত শেষ ভক্ত অবতার ঈশ্বরের সেবা বিনা নাহি জানে আর. That Ananta Shesh is the devotee incarnation of Godhead. He knows nothing but service to Lord Krishna. Further. সহস্র বদনে করে কৃষ্ণ গুণগান নিরবধি গুণগান অন্ত নাহি পান. With his thousands of mouths, he sings the glories of Lord Krishna. But although he sings in that way, he does not find an end to the qualities of the Lord. শনকাদি ভগবত শুনে যার মুখে ভগবানের গুণ কহে ভাসে প্রেম সুখে. The four Kumaras hear Srimad Bhagavatam from his lips, and they in turn repeat it in the transcendental bliss of love of Godhead. So when the Kumaras are hearing Bhagavatam from Shesha, they are repeating it. They feel inspired to repeat it, and they experience transcendental bliss. And that is the mood of preaching, of a preacher. Further, text 123. ছত্রপাদুকা শয়্য উপাধন বাসন আরাম আবাস যজ্ঞ সূত্র সিংহাসন. He serves Lord Krishna assuming all the following forms. And what are the forms? Here, umbrella, slippers, bedding, pillow, garments, resting chair, residence, sacred thread, and throne. So all of these paraphernalia are actually is provided by Shesha. Shesha is actually these. He is serving Krishna by assuming these forms. So they are not matter. It's actually Shesha who's assuming these forms and trying to serve the Supreme Lord. And then this conclusion of this section. এত মূর্তি ভেদ করি কৃষ্ণ সেবা করে কৃষ্ণেরও শেষতা পান শেষ নাম ধরে. He is thus called Lord Shesha, for he has attained the ultimate end of servitude to Krishna. He takes many forms for the service of Krishna, and thus he serves the Lord. সেই তো অনন্ত যার কহি এককাল হেন প্রভু নিত্যানন্দ কে জানে তার খেলা. That person of whom Lord Ananta is a Kala or part of a plenary part is Lord Nityananda Prabhu. Who therefore can know the pastimes of Lord Nityananda? Nandaram ki jai. So it's just wonderful descriptions and narrations. We know he's Balram, but how he's serving the Lord is very interesting. And by his Leela, by his pastimes, we can feel very inspired to serve the Lord in many ways. So there are two important aspects which is also mentioned by Bhaktivinoda Thakur in one of his wonderful glorifications in bhajan to Nityananda Prabhu. So he says, of course, to Nityananda and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he says, Doyal Nitai Chaitanya bole nachre amar mon. Doyal Nitai Chaitanya bole nachre amar mon. Nachre amar mon, nachre amar mon, nachre amar mon, nachre amar mon. Doyal Nitai Chaitanya bole nachre amar mon. So as soon as I take the name of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Nityananda Prabhu, what happens to me? Nachre amar mon, my mind, my whole body becomes enlivened. I become blissful. So just by connecting to Lord Nityananda, by connecting to Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, we become blissful, right? And in another bhajan, which many of you would know, he says, Bhaktivinoda Thakur says, Boro Shukher Khobor Gai. Boro Shukher Khobor Gai, Boro Shukher Khobor Gai. What is that thing? Boro Shukher Khobor Gai. I am singing the most happy, I'm giving you the most happy news. The happiest news. A news that will make you happy. It's not that news is happy, but the news that I'm going to give you will make you happy. Boro Shukher Khobor Gai. And what is the khobor? What is the news? Surabhi Kunjete Namer Hat Khuleche. Yeah, in the place of Surabhi Kunj, which is based in Godrumdeep, in Mayapur, Namer Hat Khuleche. So the marketplace of the holy name has been opened by who? Khod Nitai, Khod Nitai. That Nityananda Prabhu himself has opened the marketplace of the holy name. And knowing this will give you extreme bliss. You will experience extreme pleasure. So Lord Nityananda Prabhu, he is constantly serving, and his desire, Nityananda Prabhu's desire, inherent desire, is to fulfill the desire of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. His desire is exactly what a guru's desire is. So Balaram or Nityananda Prabhu is also referred to as Adi Guru. Why? Nityananda Prabhu has the basic attitude or desire of servitude. He wants to serve the Supreme Lord. Similarly, the Guru is constantly looking at serving the Lord. How? By personally serving the Lord, also by guiding people who are seeking shelter of him to serve the Lord. So his desire is personally serve the Lord and facilitate others to also serve the Lord. So this is that, we could say in one way it's a tattva. So this is the Guru's desire is Lord Nityananda Prabhu's desire. And his desire is to constantly serve. He just wants to serve Krishna. And because he's constantly serving Krishna, by default, he is always blissful. Constantly blissful. So he's working very hard, but he's blissful. So this is one major important aspect of Lord Nityananda Prabhu, that he is blissful. Blissful not on his own. Of course, he's a Supreme Lord. He is blissful on his own as well. But he's showing us that the right way to constantly remain blissful is to be engaged in the service of the Lord. So that is number one. And number two, we'll come back a little bit later. Another quality. So first quality is blissful in the service of the Lord. Remember this. Okay? So this personality Nityananda, let's look at some history as well. So this is what we have seen is how he is serving, who he is. So when did he appear, and just a little bit about him, his lineage, and what did he do. So we know obviously he was 20 years elder in material age to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So he appeared in the year 1473 in Eka Chakra, which is in Bengal. So he was 12 years elder to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, not 20, 12 years elder. And he was 39 years younger to Advaita Acharya. So he was born on the 13th day of the bright fortnight of Magh Mas, the 13th day. So it is Trayodasi. So that's why today is appearance day of Nityananda Prabhu is celebrated as Nityananda Trayodasi. So in that Eka Chakra Gram where he was born, there is a temple today called Garbhasva, which is denoting the place where Nityananda Prabhu appeared. And of course, there's a very nice ISKCON temple as well, part of the parikrama, not parikrama route, but devotees do go there for darshan. And we understand that Nityananda Prabhu's father was Harai Pandit and mother was Padmavati. It is said that Nityananda Prabhu had a very white complexion, very, very fair, and he had a very deep voice. He used to be very much attracted to dramatic performances of Krishna and Ram right from his childhood. And around the year, just when he was 12 or 13 years old, there was a sannyasi who came to Harai Pandit's house, and seeing Nityananda Prabhu, he requested Harai Pandit to send Nityananda Prabhu with him as his assistant to travel, like a traveling mendicant. So although Harai Pandits, just like Dashrath Maharaj, he knew that what this sannyasi is asking is good for my son and my son will benefit, but he also didn't want his son to be separated from him. So he was not very comfortable, but at the end, he agreed for Nityananda Prabhu to go with this sannyasi and spend some time with him, moving all over. But somehow or the other, it was very painful. This whole separation from his son was very painful, and he eventually, left his body. So he was traveling. Nityananda Prabhu was traveling with the sannyasi for a long, long, long time, and during his travels, he assumed the role or the form of what we call as an avadut. Avadut is somebody who's completely in transcendental ecstasy. And he has no consideration of social customs and society etiquettes that normal people follow. He's so engrossed in love of God that he has no consideration for all these things. So common people who don't understand the character or nature of such persons, they call him as a madman. So Avadut. So that's how he was. And then when he turned 32, he got to know that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has appeared. And at the age of when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu turned 20, he inaugurated the Sankirtan movement, which was one of the most important aspects of his appearance, to inaugurate the Sankirtan movement, the Yuga Dharma of this age. So then he came back to Bengal. And we know how he didn't go to Mahaprabhu directly. He hid himself in Nandanacharya's house, which is Ishodhyan. And then how Chaitanya Mahaprabhu sent people to look for him. They couldn't find him. And finally, the two lords, they met. And obviously, ecstatic exchange. So we know that. And then, of course, we also understand how as soon as they met, Sankirtan movement just took ground. And we also, from Chaitanya Bhagavat, there is this nice verse where Chaitanya Mahaprabhu instructs Nityananda Prabhu. What does he say? Suno suno Nityananda, suno Haridas, Sarvotro amar agga koriho prakash, proti ghare ghare giya koro ei bhikkha, bolo Krishna, bhajo Krishna, koro Krishna shikha. So he says, Suno Suno Nityananda, Suno Haridas. Then, my dear Haridas and Nityananda, listen to me, come here. This is my order. Please go and spread this order. Give this order to everybody. Amar Agga Koriho Prakash. Please share this with everybody. What is it? Proti ghare ghare giya. Go to every house. Knock every door. And what do? Bolo Krishna, Bhajo Krishna, Koro Krishna Shikha. Just give them the knowledge of Krishna and beg them to take the name of Krishna. That is your job. So the whole preaching movement that we understand today was personally done by or shown by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and Nityananda Prabhu inaugurated. And in that other bhajan that we just sang, বড় সুখের খবর গাই সুরভি কুঞ্জেতে নামের হাট খুলেছে খোদ নিতাই. So to facilitate Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's instruction, he started this Nam Hat, of marketplace of the holy name. And while doing this, we understand also how he made he converted so many people, so many ordinary living entities who came in touch with Lord Nityananda Prabhu or Haridas Thakur or Chaitanya Mahaprabhu or any of the devotees or associates. They all became devotees. Instantly, they became devotees. Of course, some took a bit of a complicated route to become devotees, like Jagai Manai. So they also got the mercy, but it took a bit longer. So we know the story of how they were given the holy name and they got angry and they actually physically hurt Nityananda Prabhu. And even though they hurt Nityananda Prabhu to the point that there was blood from his transcendental body, what did Nityananda Prabhu do? Was he angry? Was he angry? And he said, oh my God, I'm going to kill you. I'm the Supreme Lord. No. In fact, news went to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and Mahaprabhu was so angry that my bhakta has been hurt like this, that he invoked his Sudarshan Chakra, although this is not an avatar where he should invoke the Sudarshan Chakra. He did not appear for that purpose. But he was so angry, he just said, no, he's going to die. And it is Nityananda Prabhu who begged him not to kill him. So at the end, Madhai, although he hurt Nityananda Prabhu actually defended him by saying, oh, actually, Madhai hit me, but Jagai then stopped him. So, now they are in control. Don't worry. I'm all okay. Please spare them. And because Nityananda Prabhu petitioned to the Lord, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu spared him. But then what happened? These two people became so repentant. They were the worst of the sinners. They became so repentant that eventually they got completely purified and they became wonderful devotees. So there may be some people who take a longer time, go through a lot of complications before they become a devotee. And some people, they get the causeless mercy and become devotees instantly. We don't know who's going through what. So it doesn't matter. Ultimately, anybody coming in touch with Nityananda Prabhu, coming in touch with Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, is guaranteed to become devoted to them. And that is the whole purpose and goal of our human existence. So in this instance, because of this particular pastime, Jagai Madhai, sometimes we play it, or when drama is done, it's a bit humorous. But actually, if you think about it, it's a very serious drama. Because these two personalities, they were very, very ferocious, very, very, first meeting, as we understand from Chaitanya Charitamrita, Nityananda Prabhu Haridas had to run away out of fear. Can you imagine how fearful those personalities were? And they got converted. And see the mood of Nityananda Prabhu. He's hitting. And Nityananda Prabhu, what did he do? He not only forgave them, he made them a devotee, he gave them love of God. Mar khe prem de. In this bhajan, Bhaktivinoda Thakur says, Doyal to nahi hai, mar khe prem den. That nobody is more merciful than Nityananda Prabhu. Mar khe, he gets a beating. And what does he do? How does he react to that beating? He gives him love of God. Mar khe prem den. And in also this Bado Sukhet Khabar Kai, there is, I think, the last paragraph, Bhaktivinoda Thakur says that Achondale Dan Nam Nitai Doyamoy. That he gives this holy name even to Chandalas, even to like the lowest of human beings, he gives them this holy name. And he gives them love of God. So how much merciful can Nityananda Prabhu be? So we say that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is the mercy incarnation. He is very merciful. Correct. But more merciful than Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is Nityananda Prabhu. He has absolutely nothing in mind, even if somebody commits the most heinous crimes, sins in this Kali Yuga. Nityananda Prabhu knows the mood of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and is constantly trying to serve him by giving mercy. By showing compassion to all living entities, he is giving mercy. He is merciful to everybody, including the people who are physically hurting him, who are offending him. To such persons also, he is merciful. See, it is very easy to do good things to somebody who is doing good to you. True or no? Like somebody has praised you, you praise him back. It's easy. Somebody has given us a nice gift. We also feel like giving some nice gift back to him. Correct? But if somebody has criticized us, will we be inclined from the heart to say nice things about that person? Tell me.
Not at all.
Not at all. Same thing, if somebody has offended us, knowingly criticized us, done something behind our back, will we be very merciful and compassionate to that person? No. Not possible. Not from the heart. Externally, we may say, hey, Hare Krishna, okay. But from the heart, we will have so much pain, so much envy. So this is an important aspect that Nityananda Prabhu is teaching us by his own example. That all this so-called pain, pleasure, criticism, enviousness, they are all temporary. That's why in this material world, it is filled with these things. So there is nothing remaining here which will make us happy. So rather than focusing on these things, and when these things happen, instead of putting so much thought and importance and contemplating on these things, just brush it aside. Oh, if somebody criticized me, it's okay. Brush it aside. That's a material world. It's going to happen. Whether I do good things or whether I don't do good things, I'll get criticized anyway. So why bother? Why lose my focus? Let me focus on my service. let me focus on the instructions that I've got from my Guru or senior Vaishnavas and let me progress. So this is an important aspect, mercy. It is not available in this material world, or very little. It's available in very little quantities that we can experience. And this merciful attitude is one of the attributes of Lord Nityananda. So 2 attributes we talked about today. First is, what was the first attribute? Anybody remembers? First quality or attribute of Lord Nityananda Prabhu. Yes, no?
Blissful in the service of the Lord.
Yes, thank you, Mataji. Blissful,
Hare Krishna.
blissful, blissful, blissful. So if we are sincerely engaged in the service of the Lord without any hidden motive, without any expectation, under the orders of our senior authority, we will by default experience bliss. We will experience bliss. And if we are not experiencing bliss, the fault is not in the service, the fault is in us. We have to rectify something that is stopping us from experiencing the bliss. And we need help from senior devotees in this regard. So if we are doing service properly, bliss is mandatory. Bliss is a byproduct. And this is the first attribute of Lord Nityananda Prabhu. He is always blissful. And whoever comes in touch with him also becomes blissful. So we need to constantly stay connected with Nityananda Prabhu. And the second aspect is, he is always merciful. How is he merciful? By showering the mercy on other people. So he is constantly giving people the holy name, giving people love of God. Doesn't matter what you do to me, I will give you the highest benediction. So the verse that we did today, they're wonderfully bestowing benediction. We started with that. What is that benediction? Benediction is giving the highest goal of human life to the lowest of mankind. That is real mercy. And the Guru is exactly following in the footsteps of Lord Nityananda, and he is also engaging himself and his disciples and well-wishers in the service of Krishna. He is himself becoming blissful. His disciples and well-wishers who are following him also become blissful. So if somehow or the other, even after working hard, putting so much effort in our service, if we are experiencing a little amount of bliss, we are on the right track. And because we are experiencing the little amount of bliss, we will want to keep doing it again and again and again. So service, naturally by default, if you are doing it in the right frame of mind and we are blissful, automatically it will be frequently. So sometimes, we may do some service that may be once a month. But because you're experiencing the bliss, what's going to happen? You want to do it more frequently. You may do it fortnightly. Then because you're doing more, what is happening to your bliss? It's becoming more. So you have more bliss. What do you want to do? You want to have more. So instead of fortnightly, you do weekly. Still, and then you experience more bliss. You want more. So the more blissful you become, the more service you want to do. The more service you want to do, the more blissful you become. So it's upon us. So if you are not experiencing bliss, where is the problem? You decide. And second is, as part of the service, is to be distributing. We have to become instruments for Lord Nityananda Prabhu and distribute the holy name, distribute the love of God that is there, given to us as by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, has to be distributed. So to that extent, it is not only the gurus, by default, Prabhupada says every devotee, every person who comes in contact with Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, with Nityananda Prabhu, with Srila Prabhupada, is by default a guide. Is a guide, is a guru of some sort, because he is guiding somebody, at least his family or his friend, in this process. So by default, we have to take up that responsibility collectively. Sometimes we do it formally in the form of a Namahat or a Bhakti Vriksha or some form of preaching, organized preaching. Sometimes we do it in the form of Harinams. We do it in the form of book distribution. Any activity, any service we do is actually preaching service. So we should always understand that whatever service we do, Krishna, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Nityananda Prabhu are observing. Guru is observing. And people in general also are observing. So we have to portray or do the service as representatives of our Guru, of Srila Prabhupada, and ensure that we should not do anything that will bring them any disrespect in any form. It is our responsibility. Right? So it is very, very important that we keep that aspect in mind. Blissful and merciful. And that is the significance of Lord Nityananda's pastimes. Of course, there are many pastimes, but today, if we just contemplate on these two things, that he has come to give us benediction, and the benediction is remain blissful in service of the Lord, and second, be merciful to all living entities and engage them in the service of the Lord, and always remain blissful in this service. So on the wonderful appearance day of Nityananda Prabhu, I hope and pray that we all progress in the spiritual path, engage in more service of the Lord, become blissful, and spread this mercy to others. And a big form of mercy is coming soon on 8th of March. We are celebrating the Navadvip Mandal Parikrama in the temple. So this is one of the things that Nityananda Prabhu started. He is the one who took Jiva Goswami on the parikrama for the first time all around Mayapur to all the pastime places of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and gave him the stories, the narrations, and he was absolutely ecstatic and went in complete bliss. So it is Nityananda Prabhu who's done many things like this in the service of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And today we remembered all those pastimes. And again, just to conclude, blissful and merciful. Just take these two things, contemplate on these two things, and see how we can increase our service to the Supreme Lord and get the blessings of Guru Parampara, Srila Prabhupada and Srila Gurudev. Shri Shri Nityananda Prabhu ki jai, Nityananda Ram ki jai, Nityananda's appearance day ki jai, Nitai Gaur Premanande. Hari Hari Bol. So thank you very much, dear devotees. I'm sure many of you might have some comments or something more to add. Happy to take some feedback or questions.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, Dandot Pranam.
Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Explanation of the Nityananda Trayodasi. You have already given the medicine for the sick soul. So just to, your prescription is there. You have to just adopt the prescription and do it every day. That's what the method is. Two medicine. One is to become blissful, another merciful. And to take up the activities of Lord Chaitanya so that we can distribute the holy name as per the instruction of our Guru and Srila Prabhupada. That are the two medicine. He already prescribed. And he have already handed over to us. Thank you so much.
Okay, anybody else? Okay, all good. So then we can conclude here today.
कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। अनंत कोटि
Happy Nityananda Trayodasi to all of you. See you at the temple in the evening. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Hari Bol. All good assembled devotees. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Jaya Radha Madhava